All right, hello everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth here on Starship Adventures, and I am live tonight in the Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida. And we are watching storms coming in across the plains. This is going to be in Kansas, and I am putting up a few cameras from the area so we can kind of keep an eye on that as well. We also are watching night 2 of protesting, although tonight there's only about 25 people there, maybe 50. But the Jimmy Kimmel Hollywood protesting. Also, we're getting reports of protesting in Chicago, so I've got up some screens of that. Not a lot of live stuff out of Chicago, but I'm looking. I don't know if it's still going on. The images I am getting look like it's dark there, so I would assume that they're live. But I am looking for anything out of Chicago. There's Fox 32. It looks like a reel, though. But I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here. I do believe this is earlier. It's recorded, but it's recent. Very recent. So I'm going to stick that there. This is out of Chicago. ICE protests underway outside suburban Chicago facility is what it says on this one. And it's purported as live. It is a local TV station, and the lighting is correct. So I do believe this is live out of Chicago there, center right. That's going to be live out of Chicago. All right, let's see what else we can find from there. This is what you do. That's my best Bernie Sanders. I don't know what that guy's deal is. You know, socialism has never worked anywhere it was tried, but yet somehow these people think that, hey, if we just try it again, it'll work this time. It'll work this time. It's been a complete disaster every other time we've ever tried it. But hey, it's not anything other than, hey, it just wasn't being done right. If we do socialism right, maybe it'll stick, maybe it'll work. That's pretty naive, but that's the way these people are. I mean, yeah, it's one thing. I mean, I used to agree with a lot of the stuff in the Democrat side. I used to actually agree with quite a bit of things, and I'm very libertarian. I don't believe in big government. I don't believe in the government much at all. I wish the government would stay the hell out of our lives. And so I've reached a point where the left is all about big government. I mean, that's what it's all about. They protest anytime the government tries to do those functions that they have to do, like remove illegal immigration, crack down on crime in cities that are out of control. I mean, these things have to be done. And you've got one side that's pro-democracy, that's pro-law and order, and you got another side that literally fights against law and order. They fight against what's right and what's correct. And I don't know, man, it bugs me. I try not to get too political on here, but geez, this is crazy what's going on right now. You've got Tlaib, and you've got AOC, and you've got all these senators and congressmen on the left that are just one by one today standing up and saying horrible things about Charlie Kirk. That's become the thing now. The people on the right are idolizing him. And a lot of times I believe that's rightfully so. But a lot of people on the left are demonize him. They're hating him. They're saying the most disgusting, vile things about him. And it's like, I don't really understand I don't understand what's to be gained by that. The left needs to pick the middle back up if they're ever going to win another election. And I got news for you. Making fun of and celebrating the assassination of someone who's in politics is not the way to get back in the good graces of the middle of the country. You know, the middle 20% actually are who elects the president. Because 40% of us vote one way and 40% of us vote the other way. It's the 20% in the middle that decide who's going to be the president. If you look at it, anytime there's even a bigger election, Barack Obama won big, but not by more than, just 4, 5, 6%. Biden beat Trump by a razor-thin margin, and Trump turned around and beat him by a little bit healthier margin, but still, we're talking 1, 2, 3% of the overall population. So it's that middle 20%. And so if you're a party, whether you're Democrat or Republican, what you need to be doing right now, is figuring out how can we relate to that middle 20%. And the Republicans seem to be doing the same thing. How do we continue to relate to that middle 20%? And of course, the left has lost the black male vote. That's been the biggest thing that's come out of this last election. They've lost the male Hispanic vote. They've lost the male black vote. And they even had less LGBTQIA2S plus people vote for them this time. Because all this, it's not working what they're doing right now. So what they really need to do, what the left needs to do, and what the right needs to work on as well, is that 20% in the middle. All the left seems to care about is the fringe. All they care about is the 20 or 30% of the freakos all the way over on the far left. Well, you've got their vote. Why are you placating to the freaks? The right's not placating to their freaks, and yeah, they got freaks too. The right's not doing that with their freaks. What you need to do, if you're going to win the next election, especially if you're on the left, is you have to work on that middle 20%. And how you do that is by normalizing your party. Stop making your party look like it's literally the loony barn, okay? And you've got to somehow win that middle back. And I think that any hope that the Democrats had of winning the next 2 presidential elections died with Charlie Kirk. The movement that's going on right now, remember I told you guys a couple nights ago they had 18,000 new chapter requests? It's up to 57,000 new chapter requests. There's not going to be a high school or a college or a university or a trade school in this country that's not going to have a Turning Point USA active group within the school. That is a complete shift in power right now, because the only thing the left really had going for it was the fact that they were indoctrinating so many people in our schools. They were indoctrinating so many people in our colleges and our universities to be extreme leftists. People would leave their conservative parents and go to college. This man that shot Charlie Kirk left his conservative parents and went to college and was radicalized in college. His parents are like, yeah, we saw the decline as soon as he went to school. As soon as he went to school, his sexuality was changing. The way he was living was changing. His political affiliations are changing. Everything changed about the man, and then he went and did this. This is happening a lot because when they leave home to go to university or go to college or even high school, their parents are assholes. Everybody believes that, right? My parents were assholes. Well, when they go to that school or they go to whatever, the school gives them a new way to think. The professors, the teachers, the instructors, they give them this new way of thinking. A way of thinking that, by the way, is going to really piss your parents off. And that is the indoctrination that's been going on in our schools for 25 years. And that's why the left can still win without the blue collar vote. I don't know if you guys realize that. 25 years ago, okay, if you were in a union, if you were a blue collar man, if you were a worker, If you worked every day in sewer or with electrical lines, or you built buildings, if you were an automaker, a union automaker, a union worker, 25 years ago, you would have voted Democrat. You would have been out there with signs. Up to 10 years ago, you'd have been out there with signs. Guess what? The unions don't support the left anymore. They're transitioning over to the right. The police, all the police and fire unions, just about all of them around the country, have all moved over to the right. They've lost the blue party vote, the blue collar vote. Why did they lose the blue collar vote? Simple. They no longer relate to them. All that party cares about is the LGBTQIA2S plus and race. That's all they care about. The same party that says that a man can be a woman is the same party that tells you that you have to be a woman in order to be a CEO at a big company. It doesn't even make sense. If you put all the stuff they say together, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, Sam, I've never had kids, so I don't, I don't know, but I know that um, most kids, a lot of kids, they get to where they just despise their parents, and it goes away. It comes and it goes. Most kids are fine, but right at that moment where they're vulnerable, that's when the left hooks them. That's when the indoctrination happens. It starts in high school. Hell, I think it starts in middle school now. And they're taught, and they're putting all these books in the libraries, and they're doing all this. I 100% support people's sexual rights. I just don't think it needs to be a part of our schools, and it doesn't need to be a part of what's going on with people that are under 18. And I think that's where we have to draw the line. I do believe that I get my info from a lot of sources, not just Fox. As a matter of fact, Fox leans hard right, and I prefer something that's a little more to the center. There's not much in the center. So I actually aggregate my news from left and right sources. And I use AI to integrate it into a non-biased story when I post it. Because I'm trying very hard to not be I don't want to come on here every night and just say, hey, this is what I believe in. I'm trying to show you guys the third side of it here, because there's always a story in the middle. There's always the fair and balanced story in the middle, and that's what I try to achieve here. It's in Chicacou. I don't know where that is. You mean Chicago? Yeah, we've got several shots of Chicago up right now. Upper left and also at least one of the upper rights are in Chicago. And I also believe that center right is in Chicago as well. It's some kind of facility where they've had an ice raid today. So yeah, we're watching a bunch of different stuff. Well, Sam, you can look at it that way if you want. It's one of those things. People on the left just immediately start yelling at you if you don't agree with them. And you need to have an open mind. You need to think about stuff and rationalize things and not just believe what you're being told. Okay? I love that people that blame me for only watching Fox News or whatever are the same people that only watch CNN or get their news from Jimmy Kimmel or get their news from The Onion or some other far left deal. So you can accuse all you want, okay? I'm approaching things from a moderate point of view. And you can call me right wing if you want. That's fine. It's not an insult. 82% of your mass shootings are conducted by people on the left. Just remember that. What next time you decide you want to do gun control stuff. Yeah, let's debate it. Generally, the left won't debate. Well, how I personally believe is my personal thoughts. I'm actually not on the left or the right. I'm a libertarian. Okay, so there you go. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. I don't believe in government. I am also not an anarchist, and I believe we do actually need components of government right now. But I believe the less government is better. Anytime government's involved, it's a mess. The left right now wants big government involved in everything, and they were the left was the one censoring speech. The left was the one doing all this stuff. Under COVID, we had to literally take our show, our commercial show, off of YouTube and off of 2 other platforms because we were being censored because we were using the word COVID. So I am 100% against any speech censorship. I'm a constitutionalist, and that's where I'm at. So if you want to call me right wing, that's fine because it's better than left wing. I would certainly much rather be called right wing than left wing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, you would be surprised the number of people on the left that believe what the Onion puts out, sir. Anyway, let's leave that there. I will say this. Since I love to lie, please tell me what I'm lying about. I would love to debate you. I would love to. But what the left always does is they'll say something like, "You're a liar," and then that's it. There's no, okay, what did I lie about? What? Let's talk about it. Because I have the ability to cite facts, and I certainly would love to debate some of this stuff. So let me know what you want to debate. I really didn't want to do a political debate in here tonight. I don't think it's necessary. Most rational people can see what's happening on the left right now. The left has lost the middle 20%. The right has the entire middle 20% right now. And that's why there will be at least 2 more presidential elections before the left can put up a serious candidate again. You know what's funny? The right has a full bench. There's a full bench on the right. And this surprises me. There's 25 people. When they start asking who would you be willing to vote for, there's all kinds of people on the right. On the left, we have a problem. They ask people on the left, who are you willing to vote for? And there's nobody. Do you know who the number 1 person right now on the left that's being considered for president? When they poll people, the number 1 person right now being basically that people say they would like to vote for or that they would support for president, Kamala Harris. The best they have is what tanked last time. What are you calling me, anti-science now too? I do a science show, dude. What are you talking about? This is the problem with the right. They don't argue. They don't debate. They don't bring it. All they do is they call you names, and then they eventually get pissed and unsubscribe and leave, and that's fine. Yes, provide links, provide information. If you can't leave links in here, then you can go over to our Discord and leave them in the general tab. We would love to debate you. Yeah. I'm anti. Do you guys believe this? The science guy here is anti-science. Really? I bet I'm racist too, and I bet I'm a homophobe. Right? Is that what I am? Yeah. What else do you think you know about me? I completely support the LGBTQIA2S plus community. I bet you I can say that and you can't. I support them completely. I think you should do whatever you want, whoever you want, however you want, as long as there's not a victim involved. I actually completely support lifestyles. I've never been racist, and I'm not racist. I go by logic and science. That's actually I approach politics from a science point of view. So I think that's important. Um, I'm pathetic because I asked for you to come up with links. Wow, dude. You're a drive-by debater, which is what I always get from the left. At least people on the right will come in here and argue with me. At least people from the right will come in here and put up a good fight and an argument. Um, they don't, because you know what? There's not a single thing that the left is doing right now that makes any logical scientific sense whatsoever. Whether it's the global warming hoax, right on through with everybody on the right's a racist, right on through with, well, if we don't like free speech, we're just going to shoot and kill people. You know, the left is the extremists. The left is the crazies in our community. And I mean, and if you can't see that, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not even on the right or the left, but I would much rather be on the right than the left. Am I part Vulcan? It could be. You never know. I do. You know what? I grew up idolizing the way Vulcans and Mr. Spock specifically on Star Trek used to analyze things analytically, and I fell in love with science because of Mr. Spock on Star Trek. That's where I got my science background, and that's where I really started getting into it. And I can't defend my lie. Which lies would you like me to defend? I mean, you just keep spewing things that really don't make any sense. Between all the grammatical errors and the syntax, I'm having a hard time following it. I didn't know where the information was from. What information, dude? I'll be glad to provide reference. What information? Tell me. My God. I hate this. This is what I hate about the left. They're angry. It's all emotion to the left. The left leads with their heart. The right leads with their brain. We've been saying that for 20 years now. And it's the case. The reason the left can't debate you is because they're too emotional to debate. Go watch Charlie Kirk content. I mean, if you go watch Charlie Kirk content, you will see the same thing. It's drive-by media. These people on the left, they would walk up to Charlie Kirk when he's sitting there doing his thing at college campuses, and they would immediately start spewing things. He would come back with facts, and they would get pissed and start screaming and cussing. That's pretty much the way it would work. And that's how the left debates, because when you're devoid of facts and you're devoid of logic and your case is weak and your bench is empty, that's how you debate right there. You call names and you run. You throw rocks and you run. It's okay. We get it. You're not the first person to come in here and do this. A Star Trek Klingon, I don't know that I've ever seen that. If it's a real commercial or a spoof. With AI, who knows now? But I haven't seen that one. That's cool. Oh, look, I'm a liar. I'm a liar again. Tell me what I'm a liar. Tell me what I'm lying about. God, you people infuriate me. I don't get mad because of what you say. I get mad at what you won't say or don't say. Say it. Debate. Quit just throwing out that you're a liar. You're a liar. What are you talking about? What facts am I running away from? Hello? No, Galactic, I agree with you. There is good debaters on the left. They don't have a Charlie Kirk or anybody close. I agree with that. But there is good debaters on the left. But the problem is most of them won't even come out and debate anymore because the left's case has gotten so convoluted. It's gotten so fringe and crazy and special interest that it's hard to come out and debate on the side of the left. What's easier to debate? There's two genders. There is 93 genders. Which is easier to defend in debate? You can do this with anything with these debates. regardless of what you want to debate, okay, these people say that because of cars, we're all going to die. These people over here are saying, let's let the science work it out. Because every single, and I went through this the other night, of the 37 calamities that the left has told us we're going to die from, whether it be ozone hole, acid rain, global warming, climate disruption, the melting of the ice caps, the dying polar bears, the pollinators, Jesus, God, everything, we're all going to die. None of it's come true. Al Gore said we would be underwater here right now. Never happened. The tides have never rose. So what I say is, the left is the party of illogic, because even their biggest scientific argument is completely debunked. The globe is warming. Really? John Kerry and Al Gore have their 10,000 square foot homes and their fucking $2,000 electric bills every month, and they fly around in their private jets telling you that you're ruining the planet. You guys can't see what they're doing? It's a rope-a-dope, and you fell for it. Oh my God. It's crazy. Here we go. He's just calling names. That's all we do. What data? Did anybody see any data? Can someone tell me what data he's talking about? What data? I can't respond. I'll respond to any data. But all you keep doing is calling me names. Yeah, and don't forget, men can give birth, right? The party of science told us that, right? I even have a clip at work I use of Joe Biden saying the science isn't important. It's the mission. It's crazy. It's, you know, when you've got the facts and you've got the information, then the other side doesn't. This is the kind of debate you get. Climate change is the biggest money grab ever. And they've got so many countries rope-a-doped into that. I'm glad we're getting completely out of it. We're getting completely out of it. Most of the pollution is not made in this country. It's made in third world countries anyway. We're out of it. I actually believe 1 degree of temperature rise and a 5% increase in carbon would actually provide more food for everybody. Which, another thing that the liberals said was going to happen is we're all going to die of overpopulation. Do you guys remember that? Overpopulation. Guess what? The United States has neutral population. Europe's declining. China's declining. Russia's stagnant. The only country in the world, the only continent in the world that's producing a plus population right now is Africa. And it will level off by 2035. Okay? There is none. All that bullshit that the left told us about we're all going to die because there's too many people in the world and there's more and more people and oh my God, we fixed it. The earth has a way of fixing itself. And this is another one where, guess what? As we learn, as we get smarter, as things happen and we learn from everything and we become technologically advanced and we become more career oriented and all that, the problem fixed itself. The problem fixed itself. What data are we talking about? What? That's a, you know, I think they do it just to piss us off. I think they come in and they start talking about data that was never presented. And then they keep calling us idiots because we won't look at the data that was never presented. What data was that? What data did you send? I did not see any data. You know, I'm getting sick of this, to be honest with you. I've been called a liar like 10 times. How many times do you think you should be able to come in my channel and call me a liar and a piece of shit and everything else you've called me tonight? How much should I put up with before I get rid of your ass? Tell me that. Tell me. I'm serious. I mean, how long should someone sit here on their channel when people came in to do science stuff? People came in to check out what's going on around the world, and what we're basically doing instead of talking about the things we want to talk about is we're arguing with some guy on here that just calls me names. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? What kind of unprofessional, moronic shit is that? When you get somebody, he doesn't start his own channel, doesn't start his own feed. I've got 2 channels and 9 feeds live right now. What have you done today? I have an entire studio here with 9 computers, fiber internet. What have you done today? I work in commercial radio at Fox News. I produced the #1 conservative talk radio show in Florida. What have you done for your party? Tell me. I have no kids, no family, no purpose. How do you know that? How do you even know what I have and what I don't have? You've helped my algorithm, Sam. I will thank you for that. You coming in, your post, look at this. You've come up to #2 tonight. You know why? Because you're helping my algorithms. Thank you very much. You're helping my algorithms. This is another thing you lefties don't seem to understand. When you come in and you do your thing where you just call names and act like an asshole, you're helping my algorithms, dude. And you're freaking my people out. They're all responding to you. And guess what? That's really cooking with gas now. This will be my #1 video of the week, thanks to you, Sam. Thank you very much. I get 3 hours of conservative talk at work and another 2 hours here. What have you done for your party? A plant from Fox? I don't make it a secret. You can go back and look. I actually produced the show live on this YouTube channel. You can see the whole back end of the show, how we produce it. We don't have no secrets about that. I mean, come on. It's conservative talk radio. I get 125,000 listeners a night, dude. What have you done for your party? What have you done? What have you done for that last president, the senile one? What did you do for what's her face that nobody even remembers that ran for president? The idiot. What have you done for any of them? What have you done for your party? Have you run for anything? Are you on a local board maybe? Maybe a fire board or a county commission? Have you ever run for office? Have you ever printed something and hung it up somewhere? Have you ever done anything besides drive-by politics in other people's rooms? Is that all you've ever done? I'm starting to think maybe it is. Just remember, when you come in here and you do this bullshit in someone else's chat room, you look like the idiot, sir, not me. I have a lot of reach. And I know that when I talk, people listen. Do you have that? Because everybody in my chat room thinks you're an idiot. And it looks like you've gone now, which is fine. Go ahead and make sure you flag the video on the way out, so that'll end up being held against your YouTube channel. And just remember that it might be better than trying to go piss on other people's parade. Make your own parade. Okay? Form your own channel. Get your own audience. Produce your own content. Work. Something the left doesn't do a lot of. Work hard, like I did for 5 years on this channel. And then maybe you'll be versed enough that you can actually give facts in a chat room. Maybe you'll be versed enough in the left politics that you'll realize that you're fighting a losing battle and that maybe you should stop while you're ahead. I think he's already gone. Because all he can do is go shit on people that are trying to be successful. Because he'll never be. The reason the left loves the government taking over everything, the reason they're socialists and communists, the reason they like the government to just do everything for them, is because the left, they're scared and they're lazy. And that's the bottom line. I'm sorry, I don't normally talk like this on here, but this has aggravated me tonight. Yeah, that's right, Simplex. Uh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, we did not ban you, Sam. I didn't want my people banning you. Why? Because we don't ban people on this channel unless they get really raunchy with the racial slurs, which you didn't do. You called me idiot a bunch of times and dumbass and a bunch of things, but that's okay. That's okay. Because anybody watching this video knows who the dumbass is. Well, Galactic, the knee-jerk reaction is to just get rid of the guy. But the truth is, he helped my algorithms tonight. My chat rate was up to like 7 or 8, which is great because that helps my algorithms. And because of that, we've got more people in tonight watching. So it's important. So I don't know. That's my problem. I try not to get too political in here, all right? But I'm a libertarian. I'm not on the right or the left. I'm a libertarian. I believe that the government's the problem. And then every single thing that happens in politics, I judge individually from the standpoint of science and what works and what doesn't work. It's that simple. Anybody can look at what's going on the right and what's going on the left and say, well, look what's going on the right. We're trying to bring law and order back to the street. Okay, yeah, you guys are doing that. I see that. That's, look at DC. Carjackings are down 68%. Auto thefts down 50%. And the left is protesting that. So it's a pro-crime rally, is what it is. Damn, he didn't even call me like one last name on the way out. Usually I get a good, you're a motherfucker or something like that. I didn't even see that tonight. Yeah, there's a reason why one party's the elephant that is one of the smartest mammals on the planet and never forgets a thing. And a donkey, one of the most stubborn and ignorant animals on the planet that always is doing something stupid. So, there's a reason for this stuff, guys. Yeah. Oh, here we go. My office. Look, it's not an office. It's a studio. Okay. And you're the same guy that comes in every night telling me my studio looks like shit. Thank you for the algorithms. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the thumbs down because that helps too. All right. It's not an office, sir. It's a studio. Please. All right, let's see here. This is what the left does. The left cannot debate you on your level. The left can never come to you and say, look, I want to debate 97 genders, or I want to debate men having babies. I want to debate why we should have tampons in the men's room. I want to debate, the fact that maybe Joe Biden wasn't completely senile and signed everything with an auto pen for 2 years. But the bottom line is, you can't debate from the left because you have no argument. So what you end up doing is you pop in, you call in, you pop in and you say a bunch of nasty shit, calling people names and everything, but never making the first valid point. Why? Because you don't have one, dude. You don't have a valid point. You can't start and go from anywhere like this. The left right now is a no-go. They are so screwed right now. It looks fake. What does a real studio look like compared to mine? What does it take to have a real television studio? Well, it takes cameras, lights, and then the equipment that I use to broadcast. That's what this is. I built this myself, dude. And you can call it whatever you want. You will not insult me. I'm very proud of what I have here. I am very proud of what I have here. As a matter of fact, if you've never seen it, here's the whole studio. I'll show you the whole thing. Here it is right here. There's the whole studio. There it is. Garbage and all. I just brought over Iobi yesterday. There's the studio. I've got 9 computers in here. I broadcast 8 continuous streams out of here. And like I asked or told the last guy, because I think you're probably the same as the last guy, you've just changed your name. What have you done? Do you have a channel? I'll go to your channel right now. I bet you don't have a single video. Why is that? Why is that? Because you're just a little person that goes around trying to harm others rather than creating your own. If you're so useless that you have to go harm people that are doing good so that you feel good about yourself, that's sad. Yes, of course he is. Of course he is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Simplex is actually worked out of this room. He knows. Yeah, he knows. His channel has privileges here whenever he's in town. And he's broadcast out of this studio as well. So, I mean, you guys, you can call it whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care. Just keep calling it this. Matter of fact, keep putting in my studio is shit every 30 seconds for the next hour. Keep putting it in and putting it in because you're helping my algorithms. You're getting my video out to more people. Thank you. Okay. Fine. Guess what? Doesn't bother me a bit. You can say it looks cheap and nasty all you want. I don't care. I don't care. Because you have nothing. You don't have a studio. You don't have a successful channel. You don't have an argument. And you don't have the ability to keep up with one. And so you come in and you call names. You haven't upset me. No, it takes a lot to upset me. Don't confuse being pissed with being passionate, please. I mean, I understand some of you folks are simple over there, but don't confuse pissed with passion. It's 2 different things. I'm passionate. I'm not pissed. I'm not. How can I be pissed? This is the fastest chat rate I've had in weeks. Yes, there is. There's a Jimmy Kimmel protest center, the center one there. That's the Jimmy Kimmel protest right there. And last night there was maybe 150, 175 in attendance. Tonight looks to be about 60 or 80. There's really not a lot of... I'm probably being generous. There's probably 50 people there. The truth is, Jimmy Kimmel's ratings had gotten so bad that I doubt anybody cares that he's not on the air anymore. This is just left-wingers that are protesting it because of the circumstances around his canceling. His numbers had dropped so low. He's on network television, and Fox News beat his ratings every night. And he's on broadcast television. Fox is only going to places that have a cable. So, you know, it's amazing, but it's crazy when you look at it. The ratings are incredible right now. Fox National gets more viewers than CNN, MSNBC, CNBC combined with plenty to spare. Hello, Mr. Potato Head. How are you tonight? I don't think anybody's in blackface. Although Jimmy Kimmel did a lot of blackface in his day. He's another one. Howard Stern's another one. See, when you're on the left, you can do blackface. You can make fun of gays. You can do anything you want when you're on the left. But when you're on the right, it's all verboten. You're not allowed to do any of that. Jimmy Kimmel, if he was on the right, would have been canceled long ago after all the blackface that he did and all the racial humor that he did and all the sexual humor that he did and the girls jumping on trampolines and all the bullshit with that stupid show that he had, the Man Show. You remember that? But you got these people, all this bullshit, it's like, figure it out. Anyway, yeah, I venture to say that, Mr. Potato Head, you're probably in that same group of people, or you're the same person. Normally, when we get a troll in here, we'll get 3 or 4 of them in a row, just like we did tonight. I'll go a week without a troll, and then I'll have a troll come in and get into an argument with me, and then next thing I know, I've got 4 trolls. And what are the trolls doing? They're all agreeing with themselves, which is what's going on right now. Yeah, who would have thought Corolla would have been the smart one? Look, nobody's laughing at my studio, so kiss an ass. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, of course it's money. I mean, that, you know, hey. Hey, Desert Drive-In. There was a time where I listened to Stern. Not for politics. He's always been a left loon. But there was a time when I found his shtick to be hilarious. I think his movie is great. His movie's on my top 100 list, by the way. It's not that I don't like the guy. I just I don't like the way he's handled things. I mean, and of course now he's just worthless. Victor, we'll get there. Holographs are hard because what you're talking about is stopping light photons in space at a certain distance from the projector. That's something we do not know how to do yet. It's an entire technology that we have not mastered yet. We can do it with fog or steam. We can do it with. As a matter of fact, there's a neat effect they've added to the Pirates of the Caribbean, where this fog comes down from the ceiling and they project a pirate on it. It's pretty cool. Well, Mr. Potato Head, you come in calling me names, so I don't know how you can say you wouldn't want to upset me when, how many times now have you come in and immediately started calling me names that are distasteful and unprofessional? How many times? Wayne, I agree with you. Humor is at the intersection of timing and uncomfortability. That's where comedy lives. It's timing and uncomfortability. What basically means is a good joke has to have the proper timing. You have to hit it just right, say it just right, but it has to make the listener slightly uncomfortable. That is how a perfect joke is made. And the left has been trying for a long time now. The left has been coming in and they're trying to erase humor. They're trying to get rid of humor. The reason Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know this to be a fact, but I believe the reason Jimmy Kimmel stopped doing comedy and started doing politics is because that's really all that's left to do if you're on the left. You can't joke about race, you can't joke about sex, you can't joke about anything. You can't joke about anything. These snowflakes on the left just melt everywhere. And so what do you end up with? Well, you end up with basically an attack on comedy. And I'll tell you, do you know there's been a lot of comics recently that have stood up? Tim Allen, Dave Chappelle, big time. I love Dave Chappelle. There's been a lot of comics standing up and saying, look, guys, this doesn't work. You know, this doesn't work. You have to make people slightly uncomfortable in order to get the big laughs. Let's face it, Andrew Dice Clay would come out on stage and make you genuinely uncomfortable for 90 minutes. And he's one of the funniest ever. Okay, here's the thing about Kimmel. I don't think it's a bad look for both sides. I think it seems like it's a bad look for both sides. But here's the bottom line, okay? The left is celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And now you're telling me that the right is celebrating Jimmy Kimmel getting laid off? Those two things don't fit. One's this big and one's an airplane. I don't know how they fit. It's not the same. You're not talking about the same thing, first of all. Second of all, Jimmy Kimmel's an ass, okay? And a lot of people didn't like him. Number three, his ratings were down. His ratings were down 72% from the day he took over that show. 72%. Okay? There's no way he could survive any longer. Disney already had plans to get rid of him. This was not the reason, this was the catalyst. This was the thing that pushed it over the edge. This was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. Okay? That's all. This wasn't the reason. It was just the reason they used. They were going to get rid of him anyway. Why? They're getting rid of all those night shows because they all devolved into political hate speech. They've all devolved into left-leaning propaganda. And that's what they've all turned into, left-leaning propaganda. Yeah, I didn't like Jimmy much. I wasn't much on the Man Show, but not because it degraded women, or I don't care. It's entertainment. I don't think entertainment degrades women as a whole. But it was never my kind of show. It was a testosterone show, and I'm not into those either. Yeah, there you go. Comedy's Dirty Dozen. Yeah, comedy, if you talk about good comedy, we've had good comedy. The four guys. Remember the four guys? The cable guy, the here's your sign guy, the you might be a redneck guy, and Ron White. They call me the Tater. Those four guys were hilarious. Ron White was the funniest, by the way, in my opinion. Today, when he does his act, he comes out with apple juice on the rocks. Because it's part of the act, and he doesn't drink anymore. No, I never thought Kimmel was that funny, and he certainly isn't deep. Yeah, he'll pick up something. He'll pick up something on the internet. He's never ever going to make what he made before because he was being grossly overpaid, which brings me to the sixth reason that they were going to get rid of him. Number 5 was the fact that it's over. They're not doing those night shows anymore because the genre has changed. The winds have changed. There's a lot of reasons, but him making all that money is definitely number 6. He's making millions of dollars to produce a show that's not making millions of dollars. Yeah. Bill Maher, I'll tell you something about Bill Maher. He tries to toe the line now. He tries to actually be closer to journalism. He's still a talking head, but I mean, he tries to take things from the middle, and I find myself liking to listen to his logic sometimes, even though it's not necessarily what I believe in as a libertarian. I have found Bill Maher to actually be reasonable on some things and completely irrational on others. And so he doesn't really fit in one category or the other, and that's why he's found himself where he's at. See, there's Mr. Potato Head again, being an asshole. You're an asshole, dude. I'm sorry. You can't stop yourself. You're on the left. You can't argue with me legitimately. So what you're doing is you're going to call my studio names. You don't even have the balls to call me names. You're going to call my studio names. It's either your head looks like a potato or your studio looks like children built it. Really, Have children ever built anything like this? You're trying to get a rise out of me, and it's not going to work, dude. It's not. You're just helping my algorithms. Thank you. Jerry Clower, yes, I do. Yeah. You know, I like to hear opinions of people who are in the middle. I like to hear opinions that differ because I'm not specifically on one side or the other. I'm a libertarian, a constitutionalist libertarian that believes that the problem is the government. But I don't mind being called a right winger. You want to know why? Because at least that's the side of logic and reason. All right, we're doing good on numbers tonight. We're doing great on the chat rate tonight. So thank you very much to all of my people out there that like to call me names. I appreciate it. All right, and we did have a storm chaser, but the storm chaser has gone away. Let's see, I don't see any more storm chasers out here. So I'll keep it zoomed in. The only storm we've really got going on right now is this one right here in central Kansas, moving southeast towards Wichita, and we'll keep that up on the screen as we watch it. And I've got a few cameras up too, but they're still pretty far away from this system. So anyway, but that's what we got going on there. Okay, let's see here. Yep. You know, I think what's going to end up happening here is I think that I think it's crazy that Charlie Kirk created Turning Point USA to create a turning point where we can shut down all this liberal indoctrination that's going on in our schools and our universities, our colleges, and our tech schools. We can shut all that down by putting equal and opposite voices in those same venues. And down here, our FGCU, or FUGU as we call it, they would not allow the Charlie Kirk thing on their campus, and the backlash was fantastic. They changed their mind at the last minute, and they were told, we don't need your facility. We'll use the county's facility in Estero. And they had a huge vigil. A huge vigil. Many, many hundreds of people there. In an area this size. I mean, it was amazing. And our university now has come out and said, no, we're going to allow the Turning Point chapter, and we're going to allow vigils for Charlie Kirk. They've completely changed their thinking on it. Why? Because they realized the backlash was swift and powerful. And that's what it takes to turn this around. The reason the liberals have been getting all this ground lately is because of the indoctrination in schools. That's the number one reason. It's the indoctrination in schools. And Turning Point USA was designed by Charlie and his people to specifically even the playing field, not defeat them. Charlie never wanted to shut up voices. If you remember, Charlie wanted to hear every voice. He would have the dissenters move to the front of the line. He allowed people to speak. He was a First Amendment purist. Yep, there has been really no tornadoes the last 2 or 3 days. No really severe weather at all. I'm not sure what you mean, Victor. I have seen the shirts that they wear that just say freedom on the front. I like those. Um, okay, Mr. Potato Head, let's do this. What components would you switch out? What components do you even think I have? What kind of mic is this? Do you know? What kind of supercomputer am I using over there for this broadcast? Do you know? What kind of screens are these? Do you know? What is my second and third and fourth computer over there? Do you know? Do you know what kind of computers those are? Do you know anything about the components or the equipment inside this room at all, other than what you see on the camera? Are you some kind of know-it-all? Or are you just trying to piss me off? Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. Not going to happen. I don't need your help. I have a good studio. I wouldn't want your help because I can tell you're an asshole. You come in here night after night, and instead of adding to the conversation, instead of debating, instead of discussing science with us, all you do is try to drag me down, the content provider. You try to hurt the content provider. You're a prick. You're the type of person that's never made nothing of themselves or anything in their own life. And so you go from channel to channel talking negative about real content creators, people that have actually done something with their life. I suggest starting a channel. Start your own channel. Start working on collecting your own audience. Put in the 5 years of hard work. Build a studio, even if it's with shitty components. Do something besides just being negative and hurting other content providers. Which, by the way, you're not hurting me because I'm not getting pissed and you're helping my algorithm. But the point is you're in here to try to cause harm. Look, I've said right from the beginning that most of the screens in here have been purchased secondhand. I'm not embarrassed about that. I have 27 screens in here, dude. 27. If I would have bought all of those new, it would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. All the computers are new. Most of the wiring and linkage is new. The sound cards and the broadcast equipment all purchased in the last few years. Yeah. So I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty obvious. Tell me again, what equipment would you replace in here, and what would you replace it with? Humor me. Come on, smart guy. Tell me, what would you replace in here, and why? And what would you replace it with? Since you're so smart, do you work at a television studio like I do? Do you produce commercial radio like I do? Have you been a content provider for 5 years? Are you monetized? How you doing on your channel? You know, I just produced my 1,000th video a week ago. What have you done? Anything? You say you want to help me with my studio? You're a nobody. You've done nothing. I know because I can look at what you're typing and see that you've done nothing. You know nothing about this equipment. I don't want you to send me anything. I don't need it. You don't need high-end equipment. You don't. I mean, I use a $200 or $300 production sound card, and I built a computer for over $1,000. It's a gaming system. I've actually got 2 of them in here now, and I'm getting ready to build 3 more. I build my own computers. Do you build your own computers, sir? Do you build your own equipment? Have you ever worked in a professional studio? But you got the balls to tell me you want to come help me with mine? What do you do for a living, sir? Tell me. I want to know. He's gonna send me high-end equipment. Where would I even need higher-end equipment? Yeah, that's true, Coco. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's fine. Mr. Potato Head, I do not want your help. Okay? I don't need your help. If you were anybody that's anybody, you would have a channel. You'd have a job in this business. You would know something of what you speak. Guys, don't let him upset you guys. Don't. He's a tiny little wee man, and he loves to just come in and pick fights. He's probably that same prick we were arguing with earlier, that left wing nut that we were talking to earlier. And I really don't care. You know, to be honest, again, it just helps my algorithms. That studio, like 500 quid. I think you just told us you're not in this country. Looks good because of the cheap Christmas lights. No offense. There is no Christmas lights in the room. That is a light, an individually addressable LED light curtain. Okay? And all of my other lights are individually addressable LEDs. I don't have any Christmas lights in the room. And don't say something trying to be offensive and then end it with no offense. It just shows us once again how shallow and ignorant you are. No one watches what? Yes, but no one watches them. Not sure what you mean by that. People watch all the time. I get great numbers. My other channel is almost to 500 subs. I've gotten 30, 40 subs in 3 or 4 days over there since I moved everything over there. The numbers are down some on all of the streams because they're not on the channel with 17,000 subscribers. They're over on the backup channel, which has 440 subscribers. Okay? And I'm still getting hits. I still got 400 or 500 hits yesterday. I still got probably 150 hours of view time yesterday. I see the stats. You don't. So once again, I ask you, what are you talking about? Yeah, thanks, Desert. I appreciate that. No, I get a lot of positive feedback on the streams. I do. And I know people like them. They're not for everybody, but I'm getting there. Eventually, as people find them, I only was keeping 1 or 2 up till about, a month ago, and then I've slowly worked my way up to 8 consecutive streams now. You're not building me anything. I won't accept it. If someone legitimately wants to become a part of what I'm doing here, I'd love to talk to you about it, but you're just a troll. And I wouldn't work with you at this point anyway. Well, thanks, Wayne. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I've worked hard on this. Some people are like, you really shouldn't talk all the time about how hard you've worked on it. No, I think it's important for people to understand that when you have a YouTube channel, for your first 5 years, you don't make any money. Every little bit of money I make, I roll right back into the studio. So I do all this for you guys basically for nothing. I do get some money that I'm able to pay for my internet with, or buy some secondhand cheap shit crap monitors, right, Potato? And you don't even know my address, dude. As a matter of fact, if you think you know my address, you don't, because I have never published my address, nor do I use it for any of my government stuff. Even my call sign is registered to a different address. So you'll never find me. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of having fun. You know, we'll call it rope-a-dope or whatever you want to call it here. Yeah, I figured you were in the UK. So you got all this money and you're building 3 computers. Why don't you start your own studio? Build you a big piece of shit like this. And then work for 5 years to get 17,000 subs. And then you will have done something with your life instead of just being a prick. Yeah, I don't care about race. I don't care about sex. Everybody in my chat room is just to me, they're all just people. I don't, you know. You haven't upset me. As a matter of fact, you've provided us with a little bit of comic relief in here tonight. I really didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't feel like doing this show tonight. I had to deal with a nursing home all day long. Then I had to go produce talk radio. I didn't sleep worth a shit last night. I got over the COVID 2.5 weeks ago. I'm still feeling like shit. And I'm on here doing this show for free. For you guys. And then I get some prick that comes in here giving me a hard time. You haven't pissed me off. You're helping my algorithms right now. It's fine with me. You're English. I don't care. I don't care. We got sick of you guys and kicked you out of our country. And now we just let you play in the sandbox when we want to. Huh. You retracted that one, huh? I saw it before you did. You know when you retract a message that the moderator can still see it, right? Anyway. English muffins. Or is he a Maryland man? Who knows? You haven't upset me, though. Takes a lot more than this to upset me. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. He's messing around. This is when the troll tries to come clean now. Hey man, yeah, but I'm a fun troll. I'm a good troll. I wear a white troll hat. I'm awesome. And I'm sorry. Please just go. At this point, just change your name and come back in and be nice. I think that's the best thing you could do right now. Again, what would you upgrade? You're a fraud, dude. Answer my question. What would you upgrade? I'm waiting. What would you upgrade? You're a typical lefty, dude. You have no argument. So you just literally just keep beating the bush. What upgrades? I'm going to wait. We're going to sit and wait. What upgrades? I want to know. Oh, well, thanks, Dominic. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did the UV25, which I love. That's my favorite radio in the whole world. I got it right here. This is my go-to. I carry it every day, and I even leave the big antenna on it a lot of times. This is my go-to. It is my go-to. It was in my bag, or as Potato Head would call it, my purse. Yeah, and I carry this every day. I love this radio. It's a great radio. But I did a review on the UV5R MGPS. I think there was a plus in there too. Was a UV5R GBTQ plus. It's something like that. Anyway, That radio, I did do that one too. I actually gave that radio to Car. I let her have it. So, but it's a good radio. I do like it, and I got the now I got the UV17 that I'm testing out. I'm probably going to do a review on it. And I just bought another one. I don't even remember the number on it. I've got it in my car, and I'm going to probably do a review on it too. I'm still waiting to know what you would upgrade. What needs to be upgraded? I'm asking, please. You've made 73 comments tonight, and you've yet to tell me one thing that needs to be upgraded. Better components. What components are you talking about? I mean, everybody in here sees you for the fraud that you are, dude. Seriously. You're just a little antagonist from across the pond. Well, yeah, it's mildly psychopathic. It's obsessive compulsive for sure. Um, yeah, what components? Are we? Should I get a better microphone? Should I get a better computer? What components? You're a limey. Okay, I get it. No worries there. You sure act like one. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I love I love the Baofeng radios. I've become quite a fan, and it pisses some people off, but I don't care. I'll tell you what, I'm going to start ignoring Mr. Potato Head, but don't put him on ignore. I want him to keep racking up my chat room. I want him to keep my chat rate up as high as he can. So don't ban him. I'm just going to ignore him from now on because I want to get to some other things here and not spend all my time on some fucking low IQ jackboot from across the pond. All right, so here we go. All right, so let's talk about 2025 Foxtrot Alpha 22. This the FA22. This is a flyby Earth, and it actually has gone by, and it passed safely beyond our gravity well. So we know it's not coming around again for us, at least not in the short term. It passed at about 520,000 miles distance, and it was anywhere from about 427 to 951 feet across. So, you know, it could be as big as like 2 football fields. It's compared a lot to like a skyscraper. It's about the size of a skyscraper. It was on the ESA's risk list, but is now removed after its orbit. The plotting of its orbit had improved, and they had a better understanding of exactly what it was going to do. They did remove that risk classification. And this is funny. I use ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is very left-wing. As a matter of fact, if I tell ChatGPT to use Fox News and right-wing sources for news, it'll do it. And then the very next thing I ask for, it goes back to CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. It always goes to the farthest left-leaning things. And I just asked it to give me the top 15 non-political headlines. Number 2 is about climate change. And I've been spending a lot of time lately on this whole climate change hoax. And this is talking about how it's now confirmed that climate change is real. Oh my God. It says that the current extreme weather events are going to become normal every day. Really, what extreme weather events are we talking about? We're having the second mildest hurricane season in 3 decades. What are we talking about? I love when I need to use ChatGPT. I've been using Grok more and more. Grok is actually much more fair with the information, and I think that's important. Um, I think that it's one of those things where as it this is the kind of thing that scares me, because now every time someone uses ChatGPT, they're given left-leaning talking points, slanted left articles. They're getting downright lies that we know are not true, but it gives them because it gets its information from CNN, MSLSD, and the New York Slimes and the Washington Compost. That's where it gets its information from. Um, Bye, Sam. Can't believe he came back. What an asshole. Anyway, um, I just, people on the left never cease to amaze me with their childishness. Um, okay, so anyway, oh boy, this whole thing is written. It's a left-leaning report. Microplastics found deep inside human bones. Scientists warn wildfire smoke is going to kill people by 2050. Oh my God. I should have done this with Grok. They've got a new breakthrough diabetes treatment that they're working with. They're saying this diabetes treatment, if successful, could end dependency on insulin. And I think that is amazing. So many people study from diabetes. Small cell therapy trials showed 10 to 12 participants required no supplemental insulin after 1 year of use. That's dramatic. That's significant. It could pave the way for long-term treatments of type 1 diabetes without injections. Researchers still need larger trials to confirm safety and durability of the product, and they're working on that now. We got heavy mudslides happening in Southern California. One child has drowned due to heavy rain. Sudden rains east of Los Angeles unleashed mudslides, trapping drivers and has swept away vehicles. A 2-year-old child has drowned in the floodwaters during the event. Flash flood warnings issued. Emergency responders active in the area trying to make rescues. That is California, man. It's one calamity after the next. And it's what happens when you put in cities with shitty drainage and you go out there and you don't maintain your forests with controlled burns. I mean, you can literally point many of the problems that California has back to the way California has been managed. It also has more debt than any other state in the union. I just wanted to mention that. Many people are asking, where are all the hurricanes this season, especially with global warming going to kill us all next week? Despite forecasts, the Atlantic Hurricane Basin has been unusually calm yet again this year. This is notable given increased sea surface temperatures, which often favor more storm stability or formation. But guess what? They're really not that much warmer. They're a little warmer than certain years. See, the left has a thing they do with global warming called cherry picking. And when you cherry pick data, you can pretty much get the result you want from the end, and that's where we're at here. So anyway, yeah, keep that chat going, man. It helps me out. I really appreciate it. Keep saying stupid, ignorant shit, because you know what? I get the same points for your ignorant shit as I do everybody else's comments. So anyway, where's the hurricane season? If we were in an increasing pattern of strong storms, Why are we coming off of two very weak hurricane seasons in a row? Wildfire smoke and mortality burden, I talked about that a minute ago. God, it's repeated the same story 3 times. ChatGPT has turned into shit. If I go stick this into Grok, I will actually get what I needed. I need to stop using ChatGPT. I was paying for it for a while. And I kept telling it, if you cannot provide me with down the middle stuff, then I'm going to cancel your subscription. And I did. And I told it why, and I sent a thing to the creators. I'm not going to pay for something that provides me with extreme left-wing opinions on nearly everything it does. It worries me that people that aren't that bright are going to use this and not realize that it's gaslighting them, that it's telling them a bunch of shit that's not true. I mean, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, I did it with Grok. Let's see if Grok gives me, believe it or not, that last one gave me 9 out of 12 stories were on climate change. That's propaganda if you can't see it. Of course, none of these stories are worth the shit either. Yeah, they're taking away more of the recommendations. The COVID virus was a complete failure. We're finding out now that we're actually getting numbers being released, because the left would never release anything. We never knew anything. They only gave you the cherry-picked facts that they wanted to give you. But now we're starting to get releases of things, and we're starting to see that the vaccines didn't work at all. They're finding that the infection rates were the same among the vaxxed and the unvaxxed. And there was even people saying that the people that were vaxxed were getting it more. That turned out to not be true either. The fact was, the vaccine just didn't work. And the problem was, people would say, well, I'm vaxxed, he's vaxxed, she's vaxxed, so we can all go work together and we're not going to get COVID. And what they found out was all 3 of them ended up getting it. Because it ended up being completely worthless. Right now, you'd be hard pressed to even find anybody that's still giving it out. The government's no longer paying for it, and now the CDC is no longer even recommending it. So kind of one of those things. I never took it. I never wanted to take it, and now that I've seen all of the piles and piles of research coming in on the negative impacts of the vaccine, if you will. It wasn't really a vaccine. And when you look at the numbers on the vaccine, I would love to know how many people died of the vaccine versus how many people died of COVID. I know it's not the same. I understand, I'm sure more people died of COVID. But I would just love to know those numbers, because the risk of taking that vaccine was so high because they lied to you about the risk, because they wanted you to take it. Not only did they lie to you about the risk, but they required YouTube to not allow me to go on my show and tell you about the risk. They banned everything. They Facebook, X, everything was banning everybody that would speak anything about that vaccine or anything about the COVID. And so you didn't know the truth. No, I've never taken a flu vaccine. I don't believe in those either. People take the flu vaccine, they're like, I took the flu vaccine, but I still got the flu twice. Really? Because I didn't get it at all last year. That's why we have to start figuring out if this shit's really any good or not. Now, polio vaccines, we can prove that those worked. There's a lot of good vaccines. I believe we need to stagger them and not give them all at once, because I think that's what's causing autism. But But if given properly over the course of years, I do believe that most childhood vaccines that we were given are good. I think they're fine. I'm not anti-vax. You know what's funny is they have ruined people with this vaccine, because now there's a lot of people that they're not even bringing their children to get vaccines. You want to hear something great? Florida has ended the child vaccine requirement. Now it's up to the parent. Florida is changing everything in favor of the parent. The government's no longer going to be raising children down here in Florida. You want your child vaccinated? Here's the vaccination. There's the doctor. There's the appointment date. Boom. But the government's no longer going to require your child to have vaccines to report to school. If you want your child safe, you pick which vaccines you feel are safe, and you have them administered in a fashion that you feel is safe. That's what it's all about. It's personal choice, right? Freedom, personal choice. And so we're going to be the first of 50 states to get rid of the child vaccine requirements here. I think it's a great step forward, because it reintroduces another area where we're getting our freedoms back. And I still believe your children should be vaccinated. And enough of them will still get vaccinated that the desired effect will occur. And so that's all there is to it. The stock indices rose again today, moderately, as investors weigh the Federal Reserve's interest rate reduction against inflation concerns. The thing is, inflation has been completely arrested. And now the Fed's starting to do what it's doing. We're in good shape. The economy's starting to cook with gas. The tariffs are bringing things back home. We've got more aggregate jobs now than we had just a few months ago. Things are doing well right now. And I think is a real positive coming for our country. And I think that's good. The thing, Dominic, there has been periods where the ice made it all the way down to Florida in the past, and there's been times when the ice caps have almost completely melted. The Earth goes through these large swings, these cycles, and that's why when people start trying to figure out what cycle we're in and where we're going and how much man cars and shit have to do with it, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Al Gore said we would see 6 inches to a foot of rise by now. We've seen 0 rise by now. He wasn't just wrong, he was completely wrong. Dominic, that's a good point that I can't really speak to. I don't know. But I do believe that, too much of anything is not good, not enough of anything is not good. So I wonder about that myself. I really do. Yeah, Coco, a lot of people died right after they got the vaccine. But those numbers were never tracked by the federal or the state governments. As a matter of fact, the federal government did not allow their tracking. Anytime the government says we don't want data on something, it's because they know it's not going to be good. They tracked every single COVID death. We had a guy in front of the hospital on 41. Guy pulled out in front of him. He's on a motorcycle. He died right there on the road. They scraped him up. They brought him over and they stuck him. And he's COVID positive. He had COVID. So guess what? It was a COVID death. The federal government counted that motorcycle rider's death as a COVID death because he stuck positive post-mortem. Now think about that. Every single person that dies, that gets drug into the morgue, gets stuck for COVID. Anyone who has COVID, doesn't matter if you were run over by an alien spacecraft, doesn't matter if you flipped your bike on US 41, nothing matters. All it matters was if you stuck positive to COVID, you were a COVID death. Remember that number they kept saying? 27,359 people have died from COVID, man. They should have been saying died with COVID, not died of COVID. Most of the people that died of COVID actually just died with COVID. That one word doesn't really make a lot of difference, does it? Does it really? And then when the vaccine went out, they don't keep those records. They don't keep records on injury. They don't keep records on illness. They don't keep records on death. Because if it's something they don't want you to know, they just don't keep the records. I don't know if you know this. Government never commissions a study that they don't already know the answer to. They did a big ball field here, right, for the ball team. They spent millions of dollars building this field. They didn't do a single study to see what kind of effect it would have on our local community. But they came out and told us how it's going to help us. It's going to bring money. It's going to flush us with money. It's going to flush us with tourism 8 weeks out of the year. And it's going to help everything, and everything's going to be great and all that. And guess what? They never commissioned an actual study. You want to know why? Because they knew it wouldn't come out good. It would not get them to the finish line, as they call it. The study would come out and show that bringing the ball team here is going to have a net negative for the community. So what did they do? They didn't commission the study. They didn't commission the study. They just didn't do it. How can you argue with something that didn't happen? You can't argue a negative. So there's no way to actually know how many people were injured, how many people got sickened and were hospitalized, and how many people died from those vaccines that were completely and totally ineffective. No, I didn't see that, Junior. Wayne, I actually know, I know of a few. The reason that most died in the hospital was because it took days and days and days to get to that point, and most people were hospitalized during those days and days and days. In other words, if you're doing bad enough to die, you would have already been hospitalized because you were having a hard time breathing. You needed oxygen. You probably needed IV fluids. You probably needed some kind of prevental updraft or some kind of breathing treatment. And so because of that, they had to hospitalize people right away. And so what ended up happening was 80 or 90% of the people that died of COVID died in the hospital. But remember, if you died of a heart attack in the hospital and they stuck you and you had COVID, you died of COVID. If you had a stroke and they stick you and you had COVID, you died of COVID, not a stroke. And so, yes, since a lot of people die in the hospital and a lot of people were going to the hospital with advanced stages of the disease, yeah, a lot of the dead people were coming out of the hospital. But remember, only half of the ones died of COVID. The other half just happened to be unlucky enough to die with COVID. The only good thing that comes out of that is that bastard COVID died inside of them. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people went on ventilators and didn't come off. Yeah. Okay. Fauci. Oh my God, that guy. He's criminal, that guy. Yeah, that was bad deal. He made a lot of money on that. and he had his fingers in the Weiyun, the I call it Weiyun, the whatever it is over there in China, the lab. Weiyun was the character on Star Trek Enterprise, the Andorian. I don't know where that came from. Uh, yeah, yeah, they couldn't clear their lungs, and come to find out, remember that Trump came out and said, "Hey, there's this ivermectin." Remember that? And it's horse tranquilizer, but it really works. And everybody called him a kook and a right-wing nut, and come to find out, that's the stuff that worked. That's actually the treatment now. And well, if they'd stayed home, they probably would have died as well, because at a certain point, your only hope was to be on a ventilator. But if you went on a ventilator, there wasn't a whole lot of hope. That was the bad part. Um, Government needs to get out of sports, hospitality, and the convention business. I completely agree. None of that should have anything to do with the government. They shouldn't give tax subsidies for it. They shouldn't do eminent domain to build it. They shouldn't have any part in managing it or running it. And they should not subsidize it with tax money at all. It either survives on its own, it goes out and gets what it needs from somewhere else, or it dies. If nothing's too big to fail in this world. Yes, vitamin D helps quite a bit. I buy these immune system booster gummy bears, and I just eat like more of them than it tells me to. Um, yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I had it 3 weeks ago, and I was. You guys remember, those who've been coming to my show for a while. I missed what 2 nights of the show, 3 nights of the show. I missed 6 shows at work, because I could work from here with a fever. I could work from here as long as I was just feeling good enough to do it. But I couldn't go to work. I was out of work for a week and a half because I couldn't infect people. When you work in a field like mine, in television and radio, you work in what they call a talent field, you got to be really careful not to infect your talent and your people that are important at your work to producing shows. And so the first sign of trouble, I was out of there, and I didn't go back for a week and a half. Um, I agree with that, Wayne. That was a big problem too, making people stay away from their family and stuff. There was some heartless shit the left did during COVID. Everything from keeping kids out of school for 18 months in some places. Luckily down here, this was the free state down here. We did 2 weeks of lockdown, and then we went back and we opened everything up. And that was it. We never did the lockdowns again. And we even were fighting the whole thing where if your work has more than 50 people, everybody has to be vaccinated. We were fighting that down here. We were fighting that down here. And I was not getting vaccinated, even if they put me on suspension or fired me. I was not getting vaccinated. And luckily it didn't come to that. Yeah, I love how they kept saying it's horse medicine. It is used in horses. I got news for you. Half of the antibiotics that we use are the same ones they use for our cats and dogs. I mean, there's some of them that literally you can get human stuff and crunch it up and give it to your cats. You got to make sure, because you can really kill them if you're not. But I'm telling you that you can take a human. What's the one that I use for my cats? I can't think of the name of it. It's a common antibiotic. It's used mostly for like dental and infections of the skin and stuff like that. I can get those issued to me, and then I put them. I saved the last 2 or 3 and put them in the cupboard. And then when I got a cat with a tooth infection or something, I have a doser. I know exactly how to do it, and I take care of it myself. I can't afford to bring my cats to the vet. Not for everything anyway. I got 10 cats. Oh, you're welcome, Victor. I love doing it. I didn't mean for tonight to go so far off the rails. Um, yep, hydrochloroquine worked really well too. They were all the drugs that actually worked were the ones that were demonized by the left. Um, and then yes, we weren't allowed to talk on social media about it. Like I said, we had a we had a local radio show on radio, and I could tell my 120,000 people that the vaccine was bullshit. But if we're on YouTube and we're simulcasting on YouTube, we got flagged off of YouTube because of it. We were literally flagged off of YouTube. We're just now getting back to podcasting. We still never went back to YouTube. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, Wayne. They were literally doing that. They were canceling people's entire accounts, and there was no recourse. So we basically just went off of social media. We were just doing broadcast. We weren't even podcasting at the time or nothing. Now we're back to you. Every one of our things are podcasted now. You can go back and listen to them. Yeah, censoring free speech, man, that's a direct attack. That's a direct attack on us. It's a direct attack on our country. I mean, what they did to Charlie Kirk affects every one of us. I don't care what side you're on, what you believe in. One man decided that another man's free speech didn't matter, and he killed him for it. That don't change. It is what it is. And it's only going to get worse. I think political suicide's on the rise. Look, our president's they tried to kill him twice. And they got Charlie. Who's next? It's scary. It's scary that the left now uses suicide. You realize that almost 80% of our mass shootings are conducted by people on the left. They're usually LGBTQIA2S+. And they're the ones they won't tell you for days and days and days and days. And then we find out that they wrote it on their bullets and they wrote it on their gun. And they, you know, the left's the first ones to tell you we got to ban assault weapons. They want to ban assault weapons even though 92% of shootings are done with handguns. And then they'll tell you if we just banned assault rifles, we would stop shootings. And I'm thinking, it's not our side that's doing the shootings. You guys know the last time a MAGA guy went and shot something up? Been a while, if ever. These have all been left-wingers. Every one of these school shootings, just about every one of them. There's a few that were non-political, that they showed no political affiliation at all. They didn't care about politics. But for the most part, it's people who are on the left, they're disgruntled, they hate their country, and this is how they deal with it, by shooting up a school. Yep. Amoxicillin. Yeah, that's one I use with my cats. Amoxicillin. Yes. Yes, thank you, Clyde. Um, yep. Yeah, it was a dark time, man. I'll tell you that the whole COVID thing was a dark time for our country, because one party just went off the deep end. Everything Fauci said was absolutely gospel, and it turned out most of what he said was crap. You know who made out in COVID? Pfizer, J&J, the pharmaceutical companies. Look, the richest man in the world makes a widget that the government makes you buy. Think about it. If you can make something and convince the government that everybody needs it and the government needs to pay for it, you become rich. That's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Look, I sell this and the government's making everybody get one. Or the government's paying for everybody to get one. This don't even work, but that doesn't matter because the government's going to make them get it. The government's going to pay for it, and then the government's going to strong arm their ass into taking it. So it didn't matter. And guess what? All those companies are still in business. There's been no negative repercussions. All those millions of doses of shit that didn't work, we don't get our money back from that. That came out of our tax money. Tax money paid for that shit. We don't get none of that back. We get nothing back. Where do you go and spend millions of dollars on something, find out it's completely ineffective, and you can't even sue to get your money back? Yep, there's been a lot of this. I don't like it. I really don't. 200 yards. You're talking 3 inches difference between a center and where he got hit. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that logic. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to die on that hill, but I will tell you, I think they got the right guy. Looking at all of the text messages that he sent to his transitioning lover, afterwards, he literally admits to doing it, how he did it, where he did it, that he left his gun and he had to go back and get it. He described everything, where the cops were, what was going on. Go read the transcript of his text messages to his transitioning lover that he was estranged from at the time. This entire thing was just a person that left home a year ago, went to school, was indoctrinated into the left, was made to feel depressed and upset and disoriented about their own sex, and ended up ruining the rest of his life and killing someone else. It's a shame. Yep, Coco, that was probably the worst part of it right there, was that our loved ones were literally dying alone because they would not let anyone see anybody. Yeah, what the left did during COVID was heartless. It was disgusting. It was so unnecessary. I don't know. Like I said, Dominic, I'm not saying you're wrong on that. I just don't. I don't think. I'm sure he was going for a headshot center. You put right in the middle, but what happened there could have the off bit could easily be explained by things. Wind, even a slight breeze from 200 yards will knock a bullet 2 or 3 or 4 inches off course. So I don't know. And the fact that I think we got the right guy because of the text messaging, because of where he was found, where his vehicle was found, what his parents said who turned him in. He admitted to them he did it. And of course you can read his entire transcript between him and his transsexual lover. It wouldn't surprise me if that was true. And I'll admit I'm wrong if I'm wrong. I just personally don't think that's I think they got the right guy. They've got the right gun. Ballistics will prove that it's the right gun. I'm sure they've recovered fragments. And you got to remember, whatever they do with this case, it will be done in the best police lab in the world, which is the FBI has literally the best police lab in the world. People bring their shit to this country to be tested and to work with our labs. This is where it happens right here. And so they're going to have really good forensics of both the scene and the bodies and everything, the body and everything. And they're going to be able to posit, if they haven't already, and we just don't know about it, but they're actually going to be able to match that gun to the bullet. And they'll probably, I'm sure they swabbed his hands. And he probably does have some residual on his hands. There's a lot of things. There will be an overwhelming amount of proof that puts him at the scene behind the gun, looking through the sight. So I'm not too worried about that. I do believe he's the guy, and I do believe he will be committed. He will be found guilty of it if he lives that long. And I only say that because I know how weird things happen. Like, what's his face? Jeffrey Epstein, who died in a suicide-proof room. Horse shit. Now, Oswald, we can. I don't get into the whole JFK assassination. I can't sit here and talk point for point with you on it, but I will tell you there's definitely more to that case. You're telling me some guy that owned a bar down the street that didn't care about politics of the president decided that he needed to get his little gun and go down to where the cops were perp walking this guy and walk up in the crowd and shoot him? That guy owned a bar down the street. There was no reason for him to do that. The most likelihood in this whole thing is that the first guy took the shot and the second guy killed him, and they were both brainwashed to do what they did. That's the most simple explanation. Yeah, again, I've never really gotten into assassinations. And because this one happened before I was born, I never really got into it. I haven't studied it that much. I've watched a movie or two on it. Yeah, there's a lot of anomalies. The whole two bullet theory, the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of. I still don't know. I still believe that we do not have the truth of what happened on that. And they were supposed to release a bunch more documents, but every time they're supposed to release a bunch more documents, they say they released a bunch more documents, but it's just volumes of shit that doesn't mean anything or that was already released in the past. The same thing with Epstein. This second dump they did, it's almost all the same shit that we already had before. There's really nothing new there. Ruby was dying of cancer. There you go. I mean, but it's still, even that doesn't quite make it make sense for me. But that's definitely a mitigating circumstance for sure. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, none of it really made sense, did it? That whole thing didn't make sense. And when something stinks to high heaven, it's because it's bullshit. Anyway, where'd all our trolls go, man? My numbers have come down. What happened? I figured if I just moved on, they would go away, and that's what happened. I also wanted to yell at them for a few minutes, so I did that too. It made me feel good. What? Okay, September 21st, 2025, a partial solar eclipse coming up in 2 days will not be visible in the United States or North America. It will only be visible in the South Pacific, including New Zealand and parts of Antarctica. Occurring at sunrise locally, the eclipse will last from 5:19 p.m. To 9:53 p.m. Observers in these regions will experience a deep partial eclipse with the moon blocking a significant portion of the sun. It'll be visible from New Zealand and the South Pacific and parts of Antarctica. This is the last solar eclipse of 25. It occurs one day right before the September equinox. So that means we got 2 days here. We're going to be at equinox. You guys know what that means, right? In just a couple of days, the days and nights will be of equal length. Yeah, it's true. As you guys know, as we go through fall, the nights get longer and longer and longer. And by the time we get to December, we get our longest night. That's the beginning of winter. Because remember, the actual climate and the actual weather on the planet runs 6 weeks behind the actual sun radiation tilt thing. So basically what ends up happening is the first day of summer is the longest day of the year, and then over the next 6 weeks we work our way into the hottest day of the year. Well, the same thing happens in winter. The equinox happens when we see it. It's just what it says, equinox. It's equal. When is it equal? Well, when the days and nights are the exact same length. 12-hour day, 12-hour night. That's coming up in 2 days. We're literally at the fall equinox. So from now, we head towards the longest night of the year, which happens in December, and that begins winter. And that's called the winter solstice. And then in the spring, we will have the spring equinox. And that's when the days and nights will once again be 12 hours and 12 hours. And then we move into, again, June, we get the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year and the shortest night of the year. So, test tickles. I love the name. Let's see. MST, Military Standard Time. I haven't heard that one. I thought MST was Mountain Standard Time. The military uses Zulu time, which is the same as Greenwich Mean Time, which is the same as the time in England, if you want to go that route. That's the meridian, and that's why we call it PM and AM. Everything on this side of Britain is anti-meridian, and everything on this side is post-meridian. That's where you get AM and PM. Most people don't even know what those mean. A lot of people don't know what AM and FM mean on their radio. It's amplitude modulation and frequency modulation. I'd love to talk about that one night with you guys. It's fun. Yes, the time you're looking at on my screen, 23:08, that is Eastern Standard Time. I don't know. Oh, it does say MST on there, doesn't it? I wonder how that got there. I don't even know how long that's been there or what it is. I'll change it for you guys though, because I don't know. I don't remember even when I had that on there. I must have hit a button or something that changed it. But there you go. Now it says Eastern. All right. Anyway, good enough. Yeah, I never noticed it either, Junior. Oh well. Yeah, that was Mountain Standard Time, but I don't even know when I had that up there in Mountain I don't remember even doing it. So I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, um, yeah. The seasons thing's pretty complicated, actually. It's not an easy thing to master, um, but but it's neat how it works. You know, I actually like wintertime when the nights are longer and the days are shorter. But I live in South Florida, so it's the only time we get good weather. We're still in summer down here. It got up to 90 today, and it's gonna get up to 93 or something tomorrow. Um, I can't wait to get out of this and heat and into the nice and the cool. All right, nothing going on in the weather. God. Uh, wow. All right, let's see here. I'm about done. Is there anything else? If you guys got anything else you want to mention, let's throw it in the chat room now because I'm getting ready to sign off. I've done my 2 hours for God and country tonight, and I'm going to be signing off. I'm very tired, did not sleep much last night, and I still have a show to produce before I can go to bed. So it airs at 7 a.m., so I have to get it done tonight before I go to bed so that it's loaded before 7 a.m. Because if I get up and try to do it right before it airs and then something happens and I can't dial in, I can't drive to the station in time, it gets too scary. These people pay really big money for these shows. It's not unusual to pay $1,000 or more for a 1 hour time spot, even early in the morning on the weekend on a station like ours that has such great ratings. We get more per commercial than any other station in town. Um, yeah, I can't wait till we get our first cold front. We've had kind of a dry front. It wasn't much, but we actually could tell the difference. So we actually had something come through here. Um, all right, let me just do a quick check. One last quick check to see if anything's happened while we've been on the air. Oh, here we go. The guy that attacked Judge Kavanaugh decided to switch his gender today before court. I hate to say it, guys, but a lot of the violence that's going on is people having that problem with transitioning. Either people that have transitioned and now are not happy, or people who want to transition and they can't get it done, or whatever. There's a lot of people in that category, unfortunately, that are mentally needing help right now. Let me just put it that way. Um, all right. Oh God, more people talking smack about Charlie Kirk. I get so tired of it. Oh, Corolla came out defending Man Show co-host today. Who cares? Um, there you go. The major labor unions, um, in Ohio have all broke, and they're all going to vote for the Republican Ramaswamy instead of the Democrat. So you got unions; they've lost the unions Without the unions, the left doesn't have a chance. Yes. Junior, I agree with you. However, there's something to be said for a free person's ability to do what they want with their own body. I believe that if you want to die, you should be able to kill yourself. I believe that if it's your body, it's your life, you can do whatever you want with it. But I also believe what you say there is true, that gender dysphoria causes a lot of problems for people. And the problem is they're never happy. If they don't transition, they'll never be happy. If they do transition, generally speaking, they're even more unhappy. I don't know that I've ever met someone who's transgender that's gone through with everything, is at the other end, and likes their life and their body. It rarely happens. When you start screwing with everything, you're not ever going to make it right. It's just going to be more wrong a different way. And I do believe there's something to be said for working with people and saying, look, let's try everything else first before changing your life, manipulating your body, damaging your junk. Let's make damn sure that we're doing the right thing here. These people that they move out of their home with their family, they go to university, within 1 year, they're getting the lapidectomy. Or maybe it's the addictomy, depending on which way you're going. And those aren't cheap surgeries, and a lot of times you have to go to other countries or other states to get them. I mean, you would think the lapidectomy would be pretty easy, but there's a lot that has to be done there if you want anything to work at all. There's expansion, there's turning and twisting and sewing everything in so that the parts that used to make you have fun still make you have fun, but it never works. There's always paralysis, and there's always numbness and things like that. It's not good. I feel bad for these people. I really do. And the hormonal imbalances, you're absolutely correct. So I don't know. I don't want anything bad to happen to these people. But they get halfway through this process, they get all effed up in the head and they start shooting everybody up. And that's what I'm worried about. And yes, I do believe there's definitely a money component to this. You've got all these hospitals, they're fighting for your right to get the lapidectomy surgery or whatever. You're getting a lot of people, because they're getting paid for it. And of course, overseas, you can go overseas and they'll do anything you want over there for a fifth of the money that it costs here. Of course, you'll be so infected when you get back, nobody will care. You're lucky if they wash their hands in some of these countries. I feel bad for these people. I do. I do, but I don't know what to do. I don't know. What would the answer possibly be? Restrict their ability to change their sex? Nope, I don't agree with that either. I can't agree with that. But maybe we can slow the process down. Maybe we can get some mental health for these people. Slow the process down and maybe get some folks that won't take the plunge. Because I'm telling you, I've never met a transgender person that was happy. It's sad to me. I've met plenty of happy gay people. I've met plenty of happy lesbians. I've met plenty of happy bisexuals. There's something about trans, when they get to the point where they're wrong and it needs to be fixed, that's a tough life for these people. It's tough. And I really believe a lot of it comes from the confusion that the left brings them. The first thing the left says is, no, you're right. You should get that thing cut off. Seriously, let's go now. Let's do it right now. Rush. Why? They rush because they want you to do it before you change your mind. And the whole thing about 12-year-olds taking puberty blockers and 15-year-olds getting their nuts cut off, what is wrong with our society? And hospitals fighting to keep doing it, what is wrong with us? We need to help these people. And even leave that option open at the end. They are free. But I just think we got to work, instead of working on increasing the ability to get the laparoscopy or whatever, I think we need to increase the mental health availability. We need to increase options. Say, look, take 5 years to think about this, and if you still want to do it, we'll pay for the surgery. I know that's out of the box, isn't it? But that would end 95% of it right there. You're right, Deploribus, you're absolutely right. No matter what they do to their body, they're never happy. They'll never take their clothes off in front of somebody and be happy. Of course, most of us aren't anyway, but you know what I mean. No one's ever going to have shit cut off and twisted and sewed back on again. It's not going to work right. The people that get the laparoscopy, they have to make a hole. And they have to expand that hole. And then they have to take what's left of the head of your penis and sew it on the inside of what's now your vagina. So that you'll have some sensation. But a lot of times that's all lost in the process because the nerve bundles get cut. And it's all lost in the process. You can imagine waking up from that surgery and having no sexual feeling at all. I don't think we're helping these people, but I do believe ultimately that it's their body. Wow, that got deep. I didn't need to get into all that. Oh my. Yes. And the addictomy is the same thing. They will put a prosthetic in and reshape the vagina to where it's more of an appendage, but it never really works right. They'll have to put a pump or something in there. I mean, I know this is direct stuff I'm talking about, guys, but there's no good options for these people. That's why I say I feel bad for them. I want to do something to help them. But I think funding the addictomy surgery is not the way to go. Well, it seems insane to me, but I try to remember that everybody's different, and sometimes, different strokes for different folks, if you can still stroke it when you're done. Yeah, no, I don't believe that everybody has to get married and have kids. I've been married, but I chose not to have children. I never wanted children. I never wanted children. I didn't like children growing up. I didn't even hang out with children my age. I hung out with the adults. I've always been the weird kid that hangs out with the parents. I mean, I don't know. I was never a kid really. I didn't like kids. And then when I grew up, I didn't want kids. I didn't want to be around your kids. I didn't like the other kids in my family. I didn't want nothing to do with any of them. I don't like the noises they make, the smells they give off. I don't like any of it. The off-gassing. I don't need kids. And so my dad never wanted kids, but my mom did. So my dad had 2 kids. My dad was a good dad. But I knew my whole life growing up that my dad never wanted kids. And he used to tell me, if you don't want kids, then live your life in such a way that you don't have any. And I did. My brother wanted kids. He had 2 kids, 2 boys. The name goes on. I don't have to worry about it. And yeah, I spent 14 years married. I'm not married now. It doesn't matter. I think that I think it's important that you do what makes you happy. But that being said, if you want to raise kids, you should have kids. You should have as many kids as you want. If you don't want to raise kids, identify that early on and take the proper steps to keep it from happening. because you'll be much better off not having kids that you never wanted, because you're going to pay for it one way or the other. Yeah, I never thought I wanted to get married, but I ended up doing it, and then now I kind of like, I almost wish I didn't bother. I've got the radar on single site right now. We're using the radar site. Where are we at? Oh no, wait. Oh, it is on the national radar. So yeah, you are seeing multiple sweeps here. There's the single. Those are some fairly strong storms, but they've dropped all the tornado warning or the severe thunderstorm warnings now. We're literally down to just advisories. The light blue boxes are weather advisories, which is the lowest warning. Yeah, we're getting a lot of ground clutter up there tonight. I could turn the threshold up on the radar too, but that'll make it to Wichita, but I'm not staying up for it. All right, guys, last call for the chat room. We're coming up on 2.5 hours of broadcasting, which means I'm at 5.5 hours of broadcasting today, plus a trip across the state. So, oh wait, I did another hour in the car today too. I forgot about that. So I've got 6.5 hours of broadcasting today. Oh, thank you. I'm going to check that out. That's fun. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it. I'm done. I'm hurting. Going to bed. I still got to make a show, and then I'm going to bed. Dominic, I never wanted to get married. I did finally find somebody that I liked, and we spent some good times together. And we're still friends. We actually never broke up. We're just like not married anymore. It's kind of weird, but we're off doing our own thing. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm not married now, but I don't care. I mean, like I said, we're still buddies, and I didn't need to get married. I don't want to get married. I do better when I'm by myself. I really do. I've gotten a lot done in the last 6 months. Just being here all by myself, me and my cats. All right, there you go. I wish we had the other guys in because my studio is shit and garbage. And I think we need to make sure that everybody knows that my studio is garbage. It's important that we know that. Oh, jeez. I can't. Some people just get me. All right. I don't let them get me, though. That's the important part. Don't let them get you. All right, guys. I'm going to clean the studio up this weekend, too, man. It's starting to get... I will give him credit for this. He never accused me of it being trashy. And I would have agreed with that. There's trash everywhere. So the one thing you could have said that was true, there you go. You didn't. They really helped the chat tonight. The numbers are up. I think this thing we're doing is helping, moving all of the feeds to one and then keeping just the live feeds on this one. Guys, it's working. Okay? We had great numbers tonight. We had almost 300 people in the broadcast tonight. The chat rate was double normal. And so I do believe that between our trolls and between what I did with the with the channels, moving the channels around, and plus what you guys have done, sharing, liking, subscribing. I do believe that we're on the mend here. Things are going back up. We saw a little bit more numbers each night now for 3 nights. We've seen a rise in all of our numbers across the board. So we're going to keep plugging it in, and we're going to keep doing it hard, and we're going to see what happens. But I think this is going to get us back up to the 50, 100 range live like we used to be. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'm going to call it live from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name is Mr. Potato Head. Oh, no, wait. My name is Ian, and thank you for watching tonight, and I hope you've had a good time, and thanks for screwing with the trolls with me. That was fun, and hopefully we'll get some more trolls because they really help the algorithms. All right, everybody, this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. Don't forget to go over to Starship After Dark and check out our content over there. Throw a like and a subscribe, but don't hit the notification bell on After Dark because it's always recycling. Please do hit the notification bell on this channel, Starship Adventures, because now every time that bell goes off, it's going to be me on a live drive, on a storm chase, on a studio show, or on a breaking news coverage event. So that's all. I will never put anything else on here anymore. And that way, you guys know if you turn the subscribe on, you know that'll work. That'll only alert you when I'm actually going live. So there you go. I don't use many notification bells. There's like about 5 people I keep the bells on for. So I understand. I get it. You don't want to have this thing going off all the frickin' time. So if you decide you want to, you can turn it on just for my lives. That's really cool. All right, guys, have a good night out there. 7-3s from North Fort Myers, Florida, from the Starship Studios. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody, and a safe tomorrow. 7-3s. We'll see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow, live drive, noon. I should have been announcing this all night. Tomorrow, noon, live drive. I'm going to the beach. I'm taking you guys down to Fort Myers Beach with me tomorrow, and I'm going to show you guys where the tide came up. I'm going to show you where the buildings used to be. We're going to take a walk out on the beach. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got my shorts and my flip-flops ready, and I'm heading to the beach tomorrow, and I'm taking you guys with me. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's also going to be informative because we're going to talk a lot about Ian and the hurricanes that have gone through, and I'm going to literally go around and show you guys things that happened during the storm and what it looks like 3 years later. So I think it's going to be really good. That's tomorrow, Saturday at noon. So make sure that notification bell's on. I'm going to start the broadcast on the drive down there at noon, and by the time we get down there at about 12:30 or so, I should have a decent crowd in, and I'm going to go over the big bridge. I'm going to come down into Fort Myers Beach, and I'm going to talk about everything that's going on down at the beach, the rebuilding, the growth. We'll talk about Margaritaville, which is now open. We'll talk about what used to be Times Square. We're going to go down to Bowditch Point on the north end, and we're going to go all the way down to Big Carlos Pass on the south end. And I have lots of information. I had family. My mother actually grew up part of her life down on Fort Myers Beach. And I'm very connected to that area, and it's going to be, I think it'll be a good broadcast tomorrow. Tomorrow noon. And then tomorrow night I will not be live unless there's breaking news, because I'm going to be taking tomorrow night off. And then Sunday night we'll be back on for the Sights and Sounds at 9 p.m. So tomorrow noon, Sunday at 9 p.m. We'll see you guys for our next 2 broadcasts. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later.